Welcome back to the Strive 305 Economic Fellowship Podcast, where the leaders of today sit with the leaders of tomorrow and talk about Miami's future. I'm your host, Clint John, the Executive Director of Virtutum Populi Incorporated, which stands for Power to the People, a 501c3 nonprofit organization preparing the leaders of tomorrow to be active citizens in business and civics. Today, I am pleasured to have School Board Member Luisa Santos, District 9, here with us today. From arriving in Miami as a child from Bogota, did I say it right?
Bogota, yes.
To learning English in our public schools, to interning at Barack Obama's U.S. Department of Education, and even launching her own business, Lulu's Ice Cream. Luisa has turned every challenge into a door of opportunity. Now as the youngest ever member of the Miami-Dade County School Board to ensure all 350,000 students are taken care of, she is making sure that every student can recognize their full potential. From entrepreneur to business owner to public servant, we're so happy to have you and introduce you.
Thank
the
you
one
so
and
much.
only Luisa Santos. Thank you so much for being here.
Clint, I'm going to take you everywhere with me. You're like really hyping me up. I appreciate it. It's really an honor to be here and to get to chat with you today.
Thank you so much for being here. You know, as a young entrepreneur, a young public servant, what better person to have here to inspire our future than someone who actively shaped the future while they're young. So before you were a school board member, you were a business owner. What was one specific challenge that you faced in those early days of your business that taught you a lesson about leadership that you still use in public service?
Well, there's been a lot of lessons, Clint, but so I started my business during senior year of college. And so it was sort of by chance. I was studying political economy and minoring in education. As you shared, some of my experiences were deeply in the field of education. I wasn't really thinking entrepreneurship, but I did take an entrepreneurship course, and I learned about investors. I learned about how to pitch an idea, and I thought, well, this is really interesting stuff. And so I started pitching a business idea. And I won some competition. So then I found myself with a little bit of cash. It wasn't much, but it was some cash to develop this idea further, which then led to prototyping at farmers markets and growing. And what I learned early on in those years, the biggest lesson is you have to start. Take step one. There are so many amazing ideas floating in people's heads. There's this unfortunate phenomenon that happens to so many people.
Analysis paralysis.
That they are stuck in analysis paralysis. Exactly. And of course, you do want to do your due diligence. You do want to think thoroughly. You want to be intentional. You don't want to just, be irresponsible either.
Right.
But a lot of people just get stuck in that step of ideating and thinking and analyzing. And the best lesson is you start somewhere. There is no teacher like the teacher of doing, making a mistake, pivoting from that. That's really the number one lesson.
Right. Just do it. There's never a
Start.
perfect time. And so I did poll. I have questions here. I did poll our young people to see what questions they wanted to ask you.
Okay.
So this is definitely not coming from me or VP staff. You said in The Reporter, to survive as an entrepreneur, you can't let challenges become your concern, only solutions. How does that mindset apply to tackling a big, complex issue on the school board?
Yeah, so I'm glad your team these students are incredible. They dug up reporter quotes, which is the Miami-Dade College newspaper. So those are definitely from
very thorough.
A decade ago, probably. So good job on that.
It never goes away what you say.
Second lesson of today, make sure there's a digital footprint following you. So be very careful.
Absolutely.
Especially for young people, be very careful what you're posting. Think twice. Think very carefully. So that quote was about solutions, right? And yes, it applies to, honestly, everyone's individual life, to policymakers who are having to solve for big challenges, and to entrepreneurs who are trying to grow their businesses. Solutions have to be what you are obsessed with, right? Because the challenges are going to come. There's going to be thousands of them. I mean, that's what's given. The given is that you're going to face challenges. What you do when you're faced with them is what will define your journey, your success, or the lessons you learn from those challenges you face. And that comes about when you stay relentlessly focused on delivering outcomes and the solutions to those challenges. So, it's a little bit about mindset. It's really thinking about when we are faced with whatever comes our way, are we going to complain about it, get stuck in it? Well, you definitely should feel it. I'm not saying just become a robot and think that everything's okay all the time. No, you feel it deeply, quickly, and then you say, okay, that sucks. I didn't see that coming. That was a big failure. That flopped. But what do I do from here? Well, I learned X, Y, and Z about my customers, so I'm shifting. Or on the school board, you know what? We maybe encountered a challenge this year. For example, we had to find $70 million in reductions in our budget. That's a big challenge.
Large challenge.
I could have stayed stuck on how much it sucks that we're there, how many problems come from that, but really it was quickly pivoting to, all right, we have to face a new reality.
What can you control?
Exactly. What is in your control? Great way to put it. That's another way to say that.
Right.
What you control is what you should spend your time on.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. I heard a quote the other day. I don't remember who it is, but they said, life will never get easier, so handle hard better. And so finding challenges and finding solutions, which is the most important part, is super important. How has your experience as a business owner and your experience in the education field given you a unique perspective when it comes to advocating for students and teachers, and even as a school board member as well?
Yeah, so you want me to talk about the perspective of being
in the education field?
Yeah. So education means everything in my life. I came to this country when I was 8 years old, as you mentioned, from Bogota, Colombia. I didn't know a word of English. We weren't planning to stay here, honestly, but my mom, visited my cousin's school and saw colorful libraries and computers, and she just said, my two daughters, her children, deserve this education, and she gave up a lot to have us in the United States public education system. And that system delivered. Sure, there are lots of challenges. Sure, there are lots of things that could be improved. But I had teachers who invested in me and saw in me a potential beyond my circumstances and made me believe in that potential too. And I got involved in clubs and activities, and this is really where I started to see that I could become an entrepreneur, that I could dream big, that I could make a difference, because I ran for student government and I could actually bring my seat to the table to talk with my principal at the time, for example,
Right.
on issues I wanted to fix for all of my peers together. And so education, and my mom, regardless of how little we had, she valued education, and she made sure that I knew from an early age that education was extremely important. And so I carried that with me, whether it was tutoring students, third grade students in DC public schools. For 3 years, I ran an after-school tutoring and literacy program. I took it with me when I opened my business, and I hired high school and college students, and really ensured that, yes, of course, they learned about our business and what we were doing, and they were amazing team members, but they also got paid to learn about what options existed for them, both college and career-wise. And they got paid to learn financial literacy.
Wow.
So those were that's education at the workplace, right? That's and then, of course, now on the school board, education's my mission. It's everything to ensure that we can deliver for every student their ability to realize their full potential. That drives me every day.
Absolutely. It's important to give to, but it's important to get from.
Yeah.
And thank you for allowing students to get something from that and looping them in. I know you have your own fellowship too for your office, so that's great. So you inspire so many people, and this is a funny one. In your own words, what does it mean to be a scooper?
Okay,
A young
Pons.
leader who's serving up fresh ideas and positive change. So ironic.
That's funny. Yeah. So scooping from my ice cream days. No, but scooping up change means, young people, sure, there are more experiences you'll have in life, and as you get older, you do get a little wiser. You do learn a little more. But young people have an incredible perspective and shouldn't wait till they have all the experience or all the no, we need you at the table too. And I was, fortunate enough that I had adults in my life in middle school and high school that believed in that and encouraged me to get involved with student government. Congratulations. I know
Thank
you
you.
recently had your coronation, right, for student government. You don't have to wait. I want young people to know the scoopers who are bringing that change are the people who decide to show up. No one gives you the title. No one has to tap you. You can decide, I'm going to go make a difference. If there's something you care about, ask yourself, what's in my control? What can I do to change it? Maybe it is running for student government. Not everyone has to be the president of student government, though. There's a lot you can do by getting involved with your local government. Honestly, it can start with your own street. Maybe you're a little upset about how much trash there is on your street. Go knock on your neighbor's door and invite them to join you on Saturday morning, and you all pick it up together. That's leadership. That's where it starts. And I really want young people, those scoopers who are bringing out change, to know you don't have to wait for anyone. And sure, the more you do something, the better you get at it. So yes, there are things that personally I still need to learn. I still, even though it's getting harder every day, consider myself very young.
Yes, not a day for 16, right?
Yeah, right. But yeah, it's about just taking action. Again, back to where we started. Start somewhere. You have it in you. You have something to give. Start now.
Yeah, and so thank you for that. I know, we've had Morgan & Morgan, the law firm, making a lot of advertisements. And where I'm going with this is he was doing an interview one day, and he said there are people who talk and people who do. Be someone who does, right? And so that is super, super, super important. Build your table, build your chairs, bring the food. I like to eat. Bring the food, bring the knife, bring the fork, bring the water, bring everything.
Yes.
Okay, so as we close our podcast, I always love to ask some fun questions to our guests.
Okay.
So it's time to get into that rapid fire, we call it.
Okay, let's do it.
What's the best book you've read recently, and what's a song on your playlist that gets you in the zone?
Okay, so recent books. I actually just recently finished Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern's A Different Kind of Power.
Oh, she has that.
She recently launched that book, and it talks about her time leading New Zealand and some of the challenges she faced there. She was very young.
Go get it, guys.
Yeah, no, and so and she talks about a different way to lead, and I loved it. It's one of the recent ones I've read and would highly recommend. It made me think a lot. Awesome. About my current role. And then songs, gosh, there are so many, but I gotta say, right now, a good Bad Bunny song is really
I'm gonna put it in the poll, and let's see if Luisa that's popular.
No, Debí Tirar Más Fotos is my go-to right now.
On my playlist. I don't even speak Spanish. I'm in the shower.
Such a vibe.
Listen, I'm just yeah, this is awesome.
Yeah, but if I have to go more classic, I would say Phil Collins, has some incredible, songs that for all ages will get us in some inspirational mindsets.
Right. We're going to build you a Luisa Santos playlist.
Oh, God.
Oh, my gosh.
Eclectic for sure.
So as we close out, I'd of course I'd like to invite you to offer any closing thoughts, but the guiding question is going to be, if you could leave our audience with just one question, one sentence for young leaders, what would it be?
I say this often to a lot of young people. Get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Obviously not in the unsafe way, but right. There are things that are going to make you uncomfortable, and you should lean into that, not run away from it. Whether it's a hard test in school, let's say, or you're trying to change the world. You're going to be put in uncomfortable situations. You might enter rooms where you don't know anyone, and you have to get comfortable with saying, I'm not just going to run out of the room. I'm going to go meet someone and start developing connections here. Or maybe I'm going to say a hard truth in a room where I know most people disagree with me. That's uncomfortable. But the more you do it, the more comfortable you get with being uncomfortable. And you grow a lot in that discomfort. And I hope, our society more generally, people will not run away from that growth that happens in discomfort, but lean into it and develop that muscle. And to close, I want to thank you and the entire team at VP for all the work you're doing. It's really amazing to see the young people from all over this county and beyond get involved and not wait for someone to invite you,
Absolutely.
but build that table, show up, and bring other students with you. It is awesome. And I hope every student watching will also consider getting involved. And one of those ways is, of course, to intern in my office,
Right.
to join my fellowships at my office. And you can always reach out to me if there's anything you want to talk about related to our public schools, luisasantos.com.
Yeah, and you get a lot from a leader who's done so much and has such insightful insights to give. So thank you so much, Luisa, for being here. This has been an insightful, I'll use that word again, insightful podcast. And it's super inspiring to those who are young and who don't see age, whether young or old, as a factor in being successful. Thank you for the work that you're doing. The pleasure is ours for having you here today, and we thank you so much. And we hope that you will join us next time on the Strive 305 Economic Fellowship Podcast. I steal this from MDCPS when I say this, but the future is now. The future is here. The future is us. Have a great